You've been here before. A grocery aisle that feels endless. Hundreds of chocolate bars staring back at you. Organic. 70%. Premium. Family size. One costs $2. One costs $10. And somehow they all promise the same thing. A little happiness in a wrapper. So which one do you trust? Because chocolate isn't just sugar and flavor. It's a story that begins in tropical soil, travels through heat and time, and ends as a glossy bar that snaps in your hand. And inside that journey are a few quiet truths most people never think about. Why some bars are smoother, why some labels mean less than you think, and why darker isn't always better. Today, let's uncover what's really inside the chocolate you eat every day. Let's get into it right here on Secrets of Simple Things. Chocolate wasn't born sweet. Chocolate did not begin as a sweet. It wasn't created to be a snack, a dessert, or a guilty pleasure pulled from a shelf. It began with a tree. The cacao tree grows close to the equator, fragile and demanding. Its pods cling directly to the trunk, each one holding bitter seeds surrounded by a thin layer of sour pulp. On its own, cacao is not inviting. It is harsh, earthy, almost aggressive in flavor. Nothing about it suggests candy. When ancient Mesoamerican civilizations first used cacao, they didn't eat it, they drank it. The beans were fermented, dried, ground, and mixed with water, spices, and sometimes chili. No sugar, no milk. The result was a dark, foamy, intensely bitter drink. Chocolate was not comfort food, it was ritual food. It was consumed during ceremonies associated with strength, alertness, and energy. Cacao was valued not because it was pleasant, but because it was powerful. In some cultures, the beans themselves were used as currency. Chocolate was closer to medicine and symbolism than indulgence. Everything changed when cacao met two forces it had never encountered before: sugar and industry. As cacao traveled to Europe, sugar softened its bitterness. Later, industrial processing made it shelf-stable, uniform, and affordable. Machines replaced hands. Consistency replaced character. Chocolate became easier to eat, easier to sell, and easier to mass-produce. That transformation created the chocolate we recognize today: sweet, smooth, familiar, and everywhere. But something was lost along the way, because the more chocolate became convenient and comforting, the further it drifted from its original form. From a bitter ceremonial drink rooted in land and time, it turned into a standardized product designed for speed, scale, and pleasure. Chocolate didn't start as candy, and the easier it became to eat, the more it forgot where it came from. How time turns a bean into a bar. Chocolate is not created by mixing ingredients together. It is created through time, patience, and control. Every solid chocolate bar is the result of 4 quiet stages, each one shaping what you eventually taste far more than any label on the wrapper. Fermentation. This is where chocolate truly begins. Fresh cacao beans are scooped from the pod, still covered in white, sticky pulp, then piled into boxes or wrapped in leaves and left alone for days. Heat builds naturally. Microorganisms go to work. Sugars break down. Acids rise and fall. Inside the beans, chemical reactions quietly transform bitterness into the foundation of chocolate flavor. Without fermentation, cacao never develops its familiar aroma. It stays flat, harsh, and vegetal. No amount of roasting later can fix that. This is why flavor is born at the farm, not the factory. By the time cacao reaches a manufacturer, its personality has already been decided. Drying and roasting. After fermentation, the beans are dried under the sun, locking in what fermentation created. Then comes roasting, often misunderstood as simply cooking. Roasting is not about heat alone. It is about direction. Light roasting preserves acidity and fruit notes. Medium roasting builds balance and depth. Heavy roasting pushes bitterness, smoke, and intensity. A few degrees or minutes can mean the difference between smooth and burnt, rich and hollow. This step determines whether chocolate tastes bright, deep, sharp, or heavy. Once again, the decision is irreversible. Roasting doesn't add flavor, it reveals or destroys what's already there. Grinding and cocoa butter. Roasted beans are cracked and ground into a thick paste called chocolate liquor. This is where texture is decided. Grinding breaks solid cacao into microscopic particles suspended in cocoa butter, the natural fat of the cacao bean. Real chocolate melts smoothly because cocoa butter melts just below body temperature. That clean melt is not a trick. It is physics. When manufacturers replace cocoa butter with cheaper vegetable oils, the mouthfeel changes. Chocolate stops melting cleanly and starts coating instead. This single choice, whether to honor cocoa butter or replace it, creates the largest quality divide in chocolate. Tempering and forming. Finally, chocolate is tempered. This means carefully heating and cooling it so cocoa butter crystals align correctly. When done right, the chocolate becomes glossy, snaps cleanly when broken, and melts evenly on the tongue. That snap, that shine, that smooth release, none of it comes from additives. It comes from controlled crystallization. Poor tempering leads to dull surfaces, soft breaks, and greasy textures. Good chocolate needs no shortcuts to feel right. A good chocolate bar is not assembled. It is guided, step by step, from seed to structure. Because a chocolate worth eating isn't mixed into existence, it is patiently grown into one. What chocolate carries from the land? When conversations about chocolate become uncomfortable, people often look to factories or shortcuts. But the truth is older and quieter than any production line. The issue doesn't begin in the factory. It begins in the soil. Cacao is a plant that draws deeply from the ground. Like many crops, it absorbs what the soil contains, both nutrients and trace elements. Some of these, such as lead and cadmium, occur naturally in the earth. Others are echoes of human activity from decades past. And once they enter the soil, they don't disappear quickly. Soil carries memory. What was left behind years ago can still be taken up by plants today, long before any factory is involved. This isn't deception or contamination by design. It's biology interacting with environmental history. This is also where the word organic is often misunderstood. Organic farming describes how crops are grown and what farmers avoid adding. It does not erase what already exists in the land. Organic is a rule book, not a filter. Dark chocolate adds another layer. Because it contains more cacao and less sugar, everything that comes with cacao becomes more concentrated flavor, beneficial compounds, and unwanted traces alike. This doesn't make dark chocolate dangerous or lighter chocolate safe by default. It simply means proportion matters. The closer chocolate stays to cacao, the more clearly it reflects the land it came from, both its richness and its imperfections. When chocolate became a feeling, chocolate is rarely eaten in isolation. It almost always arrives carrying memory. Long before it became a supermarket staple, cacao was associated with energy, alertness, and emotional lift. Today, science helps explain part of that effect. Chocolate contains compounds that gently stimulate dopamine and serotonin, not enough to overwhelm the body, but enough to create a soft sense of comfort, a small emotional rise, a pause, a feeling that something pleasant just happened. That subtle response made chocolate easy to attach to human connection. Over time, it stopped being just food and became a message. You don't give chocolate because someone is hungry. You give it because you want to say something: affection, gratitude, apology, love, without needing many words. For many people, that association was sealed decades ago through culture as much as chemistry. Think back to films like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, where chocolate wasn't simply eaten. It opened doors. It promised imagination, warmth, and a gentler world hidden inside something small and sweet. Chocolate became less about nourishment and more about emotion. Holidays amplified that meaning. Valentine's Day, anniversaries, birthdays, these moments didn't turn chocolate into a symbol by accident. Packaging softened, flavors grew sweeter and more familiar. Chocolate was redesigned to be unwrapped slowly, shared carefully, remembered fondly. In that transformation, chocolate quietly stepped out of the role of food and into the role of emotional shorthand. A heart-shaped box wasn't meant to be analyzed. It was meant to be handed over, smiled at, and linked to a moment in time. Because chocolate doesn't just sell sweetness, it sells a feeling carefully shaped, beautifully wrapped, and easy to remember. Choosing chocolate with intention. Now imagine yourself back in the grocery store. You're standing in front of the same shelf, rows of chocolate stretching farther than your eyes can follow. The packaging hasn't changed, the prices haven't changed. The promises still glow in bold fonts and polished colors. But this time, something inside you has. You're no longer looking for the best bar. You're asking a quieter question. Why am I choosing chocolate this time? Because chocolate isn't one thing. Some bars are meant to be broken into small pieces and eaten slowly over many days. Others are meant to be unwrapped once, carefully, when you want to taste something deeper. Some are chosen for balance and familiarity. Others belong to a moment, a gift, a holiday, a memory you want to hold on to. And once you understand that, the shelf stops feeling overwhelming. You turn a bar over, noticing what it relies on. Chocolate that keeps its ingredients simple tends to behave like chocolate should, snapping cleanly, melting smoothly, leaving nothing heavy behind. A glimpse of where the cacao comes from tells you this bar didn't come from nowhere, it came from land. The cacao percentage no longer intimidates you. Darker isn't automatically better. Lighter isn't automatically careless. What matters now is how often you plan to eat it and why. In less than a minute, the choice is made. Not because you found the perfect chocolate, but because you understood the one in your hand. Because the best chocolate isn't the one that makes the loudest promise. It's the one you understand before you unwrap it. Chocolate didn't change. We just learned how to see it. Behind every glossy wrapper is a story shaped by land, time, and human choices. Once you understand that, chocolate stops being confusing and starts being intentional. Not something to fear, not something to worship, just something to enjoy, with awareness. Because the simplest things often carry the deepest stories. If this changed how you look at everyday food, stay with us. More simple things are waiting to be understood. Our team uses publicly available online sources and AI-assisted research tools to create this video. We strive for accuracy, but errors or omissions may still occur. So please view this content for entertainment purposes only, and use your own judgment when considering any information presented. Nothing here is intended as professional, legal, medical, financial, or safety advice, nor as encouragement for risky or illegal actions. We do not promote hate, harassment, violence, or misleading information, and we work to comply with YouTube's community guidelines, terms of service, copyright and fair use rules, and all applicable laws. If you believe any part of this video infringes your rights or violates YouTube policy, please contact us.